All right, I guess this will work. Kind of close. That's what I got. That's what I got. So I'm in my mother-in-law's car, guys. And I haven't done a video in a week or so. But got a lot going on. I'm not going to apologize. I mean, not to be rude. I just got a lot going on. So I'm just going to tell you about the private rental car stuff today, because it's been quite the journey with that so far, getting that going. I think it's important to talk about, not just because this is what you want to do. It's just like with any business. With the stock stuff, I'm just trading Palantir and Tesla. Real estate stuff, I have deals coming and going. You know, not like, you know, like coming and going every day. That's not what I mean. It's just like I had a couple deals that have fall through, things that looked promising that didn't quite work out, but that is life. So we were opening up a private rental. We are going to open a private rental slash, you know, Turo, which was kind of like the main thing to start, because it's so much easier to start with a Turo platform. And then there's what I found out, there's Hire Car. I think it's HYRE or something like that, not HIRE. Then there's Get Around, right? There's a couple other things, but I'm focused on the Turo platform. And then we wanted to add private car rental because there just seemed to be more money in it. And I thought it'd be easier to hit the ground running. Well, I'm based in Massachusetts, where John, our partner, is in San Antonio, and something called the Texas Triangle. You know, I think it's Houston, Dallas, San Antonio. And in that area, it's very heavily populated, so there's a lot of opportunity to oh, look at that. You do it like this with the steering wheel. It's a little bit easier to get rentals than it is, I guess, you know, than it is here. That's according to John. But what I found here over the past couple months is you can get an EIN number for any business fairly easily. You just got to identify it, go through the process, whether you do it yourself. You know, I'm based in Massachusetts. And then you just got to identify, you know, your business, and then basically wait for the licensing, and then you can kind of go to the next step. What I didn't know is I was focused on car insurance for the private rental business, because I thought it would be much easier to have that set up from the get-go than to try to get it afterwards. So in Massachusetts, commercial insurance is very high. From what I understand, it's easily $8,000 to $10,000 per car for a commercial policy. And a lot of the other insurance companies I called, such as Lula, GMI, ABI, some other companies, are either they do not want to cover Massachusetts at all, or their rates were extremely high. So it doesn't really make sense for me to pay $8,000 to $10,000 for one car, at least that I could see. So I had to shop around. That took me about a month to finally find a company called RRC, I believe it is, that offers private rental. But for new businesses, you have to have 3 cars registered to the business right from the get-go. And they do help you. They provide rental agreements. They seem to offer some kind of support. Not the best communication. Their coverage is very minimal. I have a friend who owns an insurance company. He deals with classic cars mostly, but he was reviewing their policy, and he's like, man, he goes, this coverage is not very good. They offer you like a 20/40 coverage. He goes, I would recommend 300,000 minimum, you know, liability, collision, like if something happens. So I mean, granted, when you have a private rental, from my experience, from the car business side, like for service departments renting out cars to customers, giving them service loaners, they're under their insurance. They sign a rental agreement if something happens, that they have the coverage, you know, that their insurance will take care of it. Now, and we have a deductible here at the dealerships of $2,500, which seems pretty standard. But when you get the bigger companies like Lancer or the bigger companies that are providing insurance, they want you to have 10, 20 cars minimum. So more difficult to get those policies, especially if you're a new business. So what I found out from last Wednesday is I drove we got the insurance policy set up, and then we're going to go ahead and register one of our newer cars. Like there's two or three cars we own cash, and then one we wanted to get some business credit, so we were going to go through one of the brands, the OEMs like Nissan or Honda or Toyota, and basically get the company credit with them, so that the next time around the business would be able to just get cars with their own line of credit. So we're like, well, we have to register them in the business name for the insurance purposes, as well as the for the bank, you know, to give you the loan. A lot of times for the titling, they want the company's name to be on the registration. So the banks we were going through for the first car were Nissan Motor Acceptance Corp, which is called NEMAC, and then Chase Bank, which is who we bank with our business, and then I ended up with Bank of America. Chase Bank, you know, for a longer term, I think they gave you up to 84 months at around 7%, which is, you know, right now rates are high anyway, but I mean, for a commercial loan, I thought that was decent. But when you sign as a guarantor, you should get better rates. Now, they may require more money down, which is fine. But they had all kinds of stipulations, like proof of address, proof of income, proof of this, you know, so POI, POR, proof of income, proof of residence, and things like that, which again, can be solved, not a big deal. But Bank of America, not to give them a shout out because I'm not a huge fan of Bank of America, they do have a business account. I don't have one yet, but I'm going to set one up with them. But you could get the same thing if you open up a business line of credit. Now, they approved it at a lower rate. I think the rate was 6.89 for up to 75 months. And they basically said that you can register the car in the business name or the guarantor for the business, which I thought was nice. The reason that's important is if you are going to do the Turo, I mean, for Massachusetts at least, which is very difficult to get insurance, I can register the car, so let's say in my name, but still have have it in the business, like for business credit. So I get a business line, a loan. Basically, the business now has a line of credit with with Bank of America. So in a year or two from now, if I want to get a second or third car, they're going to see, oh, you know, this company has a good history with us, right? And we may be able to get the second car without a guarantor. We might just be able to get it by its own. And this is a national bank, which makes it easier. And on top of that, if I want to add a business line of credit, which we do, I can use the bank's money. Usually they go up to, I think, 250 grand pretty easily. Whether you have to sign as a guarantor, they just end up giving it to you after 2 years. So this is what I'm looking ahead, because a year or two goes by like that. So that is where I'm at with that. Now, in the meantime, I have to go. When I went to the town hall, I went to the town of Billerica. They do not allow, they don't even allow rental cars in the city or town of Billerica. That is no longer existent. You cannot open a new rental car business there. So then I said, well, I'll go to the next town over, Burlington. So then I went to Burlington. Sophia came with me, my 8-year-old daughter. She wanted to see, you know, just kind of embark on the journey. And basically you go from the tax assessor's office to the zoning to property. It's like they kept sending me to one department versus the other. In Burlington, they said there's 2 places, I'm making a very long story short, 2 places in the whole city that are zoned for rental car businesses. And one of them was a Midas, the other one was a pizza place, but it was a plaza and it had an empty building. I went there, the building, there's no phone number to call. The guy that ran the pizza place wouldn't give me the guy's number. I gave him my number. I never heard from him. And there, I think you only park 1 car anyway. So that's Burlington. Then I went to Wilmington. Wilmington had more areas, but there's a huge map. And he says, well, any of these places on the map are an option, but you got to go see what's available, and then you got to go in front of the town. And like, so it's a process. And I could probably go to Lowell and Woburn and where else? I don't know. There's plenty of places I could go to, East Boston, that will probably allow for what's called a license of occupancy. So for you to operate as a rental car business, if you're going to have an office, you need to have this license. And if they won't grant you the license, it's very difficult to, to operate as a business if you're going to be private rental. So what I thought would be a very much easier thing is going to be a little bit more complicated, because I have to go to these offices to get this license of occupancy. to do business. Now, one of my partners, Muhammad, who they own a plaza, and who said, hey, just come here, you know, and go here. That was in Billerica. You know, he was cool with it. And you know, he's a partner, so we didn't have to really pay any rent, because he's a business partner. And we're just ready to go. We're just going to paint up the space and make it nice, put some new flooring. And that's when I ran into the problem when I went down to get the license for the insurance company for the private rental. So we are going to do Turo only for now. Okay, so this next video in reference to this, because that's, again, I'm not trying to become a private rental or a Turo channel, but this is just one of the entrepreneurial things, investment things that I'm doing to try to bring some residual income that's good at anywhere in the United States, because rental cars are something that people use as I watch all this information. But Turo seems to be like the easiest way to kind of hit the ground running. You know, we already have 3 or 4 cars, can easily scale from there to probably 10 if we want to. But we want to just see, like, how does it, let's see how it goes. We haven't even done it yet. So we got to get the cars, you know, and I'm going to put the cars as I come up. Here's the cars we started with. And I thought it'd be a good thing, because I'd really like to see my oldest son, Mason, get into this and maybe run with it where he's going to be. And maybe even Gavin. Like I'm trying to say, these are little businesses, guys, that you can get involved with. And all I'm trying to do is set up the process, the template. And this can apply to whether it's buying real estate or buying stocks and selling covered calls. You know, anything. There's a process for everything. And whatever level of money it generates, it's if you're making $100 a month or $1 a month, you can kind of grow it from there. If it's just like, okay, how do I excuse me, how do I make $1, $2? How do I make 100, 200? How do I make 2,000 or 1,000, 2,000, and so on and so forth? So these are things wherever you are in the United States, that we want to kind of just take this and, okay, let's take that, duplicate it, and put it over here. Let's take that and put this in Texas with John, and go from there. Maybe we take one and put it in Florida. Well, 100% of nothing is nothing, and if I can put some kind of legal things in, you know, you can find other opportunities in other places where maybe you couldn't do it yourself. And sometimes if you have good people in your circle, these opportunities may not come as quickly, but with a little bit of work, right, and a little bit of time and being careful, right? I mean, I think you got to keep moving, keep going forward. But you know, just be careful along the way. Don't get in over your head. You'll find that you're going to make progress. And when you look back 6 months, a year, 5 years from now, you'll be like, I'm so glad I did something. It's just like working out. If you don't go to the gym at all, if you don't go for a walk, if you don't not eat that thing you probably shouldn't eat, you're never going to see the results, because you're just talking about it, you're thinking about it, but you're never actually acting upon it. You got to take action. So anyway, that's what I wanted to put something up here. I know it's a little bit longer than 10 minutes, but that's what's going on with this private rental thing. It's kind of been a bit distracting, a little bit more time consuming. Took a little bit more of my energy and intentions to kind of get the thing where I'm like, all right, what do I need to do to get this thing off the ground and actually generating money, instead of just having cars unregistered? Like, you know, do I register in the company name? Do I register in my name? How do I get the insurance? Whose name are they going in? I have an office in New Hampshire I'm paying for that. I have to decide, do I keep that office, or do I just hold off on that? You know, there's just things you're constantly like dialing back, right, or dialing forward. So I'll talk to you guys again. I'll try to get another video up about things that are going on. We had a big festival last weekend, the I can never say it right. My daughters would kill me.
Hi guys, this is the Mahrajan, a Lebanese festival. Mahrajan.
What she said. Mahaja, I think it's called. It's like a Lebanese festival for 3 days. My girls did the debka dancing, and that took a lot out of me. You know, that was a cool festival. Thousands of people, good food, music. Maybe I'll put something up here. But there's always something, right? You always got to keep spinning the plates. So I'll see you guys next video, and have a good one. See ya.